This is ABC 7 News at 6.
Officials say a person has been shot and killed by a federal immigration agent during an enforcement operation in southern Maine. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones. The incident happened this morning in Biddeford. Our Grace Blanchard joins us now live in studio with the latest on the investigation and reactions from those throughout the state. Grace.
Good evening, Beth. The incident was first reported this morning by House Speaker Ryan Fecteau, who confirmed the fatal shooting on his social media. While details leading up to the shooting are still limited, the incident is already sparking outrage in Biddeford and throughout Maine. A young man is dead following a shooting involving ICE in Biddeford. The incident happened shortly before 8 a.m. Monday. The Attorney General's office says initial statements indicate an enforcement removal operations officer was conducting an operation when the subject attempted to flee in a vehicle in the direction of the officer and was fatally shot. According to Senator Angus King, who spoke with Secretary Mark-Wayne Mullen of the Department of Homeland Security, the individual who has been killed is a male in his 20s who had been given an order to leave the country. King said the agents were not wearing body cameras, so there is no video evidence of the incident.
What I said to the Secretary was, we want a full, transparent, and open investigation of this matter.
The incident is being investigated by the Attorney General's office, Maine State Police, and the FBI.
I want to see all the facts, but they've done this routine in other places.
This marks the second incident in less than a week in which ICE officers have used deadly force, the other being the killing of a man by an ICE officer in Texas. The shooting here in Maine has reignited calls for accountability among ICE agents.
This is an administration that promised law and order, and they've delivered lawlessness and disorder, and American people are paying for it on the streets.
It really got me thinking, like, when is this going to happen in Bangor?
ICE maintained an increased presence in Maine earlier this year. Immigration officials said in January their enhanced operations had ended. The Bangor City Council has voted down multiple ordinances as of late that aim to limit the city's cooperation with federal immigration officials.
I personally was more than accepting of the ordinance. In fact, I thought it didn't go far enough.
If ICE comes to town, like, they're going to do what they're going to do, right? So I think the most important thing for our citizens is to make a plan for if and when that happens.
Maine's immigrant community is also responding to the Biddeford shooting. Project Relief, an immigrant rights advocacy group, shared a statement saying they are in contact with the family of the man that was killed. They went on to say this was a young person whose life was cut short, and the advocacy group and many others are calling for justice. CNN is now reporting that in the hours since Senator Angus King's press conference, King again spoke with Homeland Security Secretary Mark-Wayne Mullen, who said the man fatally shot was not the target of the warrant. The Maine AG's office did confirm the ICE officer will be placed on leave as is standard protocol. The victim's identity is being withheld pending notification of family members. Beth?
Grace, thank you. And as Grace just mentioned, the Maine Attorney General Aaron Fry says his office is in fact investigating the fatal shooting in Biddeford, and they will remain on scene with authorities. Fry's office says they encourage the public to contact their local law enforcement agency with any potentially helpful information regarding the shooting. Fry also said, quote, "We understand individuals may want to gather and make their voices heard. We ask that people remain peaceful, be respectful of others, and follow the directions of local law enforcement officers who will be maintaining public order. We also understand this is a matter of significant public interest, and while we will strive for meaningful transparency and accountability, our primary focus in this moment is on a complete, thorough investigation," end quote. Well, Governor Janet Mills issued a statement in response to the fatal shooting involving ICE agents. She said, quote, "I have been briefed on the fatal shooting in Biddeford this morning involving federal law enforcement. I know that situations like these are alarming and frightening. The Maine State Police are at the scene supporting and working cooperatively with the Attorney General's office, Maine's Office of Chief Medical Examiner, and federal officials to determine what the facts of what occurred this morning." Well, an emergency rally was held in Biddeford following the deadly shooting. The crowd of protesters was joined by Congresswoman Shelley Pingree. Pingree says while there are still so many unknowns, she believes federal immigration enforcement officers should not be using deadly force against anyone, regardless of their immigration status or circumstances surrounding the, quote, targeted enforcement activity. Take a listen.
There is a significant ICE presence, and this is what it leads to. And, you know, I've been trying to cut the amount of funding that they receive, put more conditions on the funding that they do get, and most of us feel it's time to just dismantle this agency that doesn't operate legally.
We also just a short while ago heard from Senator Susan Collins' office. They said, quote, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin has informed me that the Boston office of the DHS Inspector General has taken over the investigation of the Biddeford shooting in cooperation with the FBI. In other news tonight, the Somerset County Sheriff's Office is investigating a crash today that killed a motorcyclist. The Sheriff's Office says a motorcyclist was heading northbound on Bridge Street in Norridgewock and traveling through the intersection of the River Road when a Jeep Liberty driving westbound on the River Road failed to yield when pulling onto Bridge Street. The Sheriff's Office says the Liberty struck the motorcycle, destroying it and causing the operator to be ejected onto the roadway. That motorcycle operator was identified as Joshua Poissonier of Norridgewock. He suffered serious and ultimately fatal injuries. He was not wearing a helmet. The operator of the Liberty was identified as Sarah Dakin, also of Norridgewock. She suffered minor injuries as a result of the crash. The Sheriff's Office says driver inattention and failure to yield are believed to be the primary causes of the crash. Criminal charges could be pending after a prosecutorial review. Switching gears now, a pool in Bucksport is closed for the foreseeable future, and officials aren't exactly sure why. Our Sam Miller has the story.
The Tim Embry Municipal Pool is a staple in the Bucksport community that attracts thousands of people throughout the summer. But due to a leak that couldn't be found, the town decided to close it for safety and sanitation reasons. Before the pool was first filled, air pockets were found bubbling up from the previous season. After they were popped, the pool was filled with 213,000 gallons of water. A few days later, Bucksport Community and Economic Development Director Rich Rotella got an update, but not a good one.
I got a call the next morning that the pool had lost, again, over 6 inches of water in 12 hours time frame.
Town officials began work on locating the cause of the leak. Their efforts included checking on the drains, return lines, and the scupper layer, as well as applying 100 gallons of sealant paint and patching asphalt. However, once the pool was refilled again, water continued to leak. Rotella says the town has not given up on finding a solution and highlighted how much the pool means to the community.
For families, it's an escape from the heat. Kids ride bikes here all the time. I mean, and this is why it's hard for me to see this close, because I know how much it means to this community, and it's why a bunch of us department heads are working so hard together to try to figure out why and where is this coming from and what can we do to fix this and get this back up for the community.
In Bucksport, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And let's pause now for a first look at our forecast.
Thank you very much. Your first weather today is brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. All right, the heat is here. We got some mid-80s out there for today across the state of Maine. 84 here in Bangor. You're seeing that in Waterville as well. Same for Millinocket, Holton, you get the idea. A lot of low to mid-80s out there, but a sea breeze keeping us cooler along your coastline with mid to upper 70s in Bar Harbor and Rockland. But we are expecting more heat on the way for tomorrow. Already a heat advisory for the southwestern portion of the state. That's going to expire tomorrow evening right around 8 o'clock. But one thing you might see tomorrow is a severe thunderstorm watch for some of the similar areas across the states, as we do have a chance for some severe weather heading into tomorrow evening. So we'll have some thunder showers passing through the area for tonight. No big deal. Tomorrow, there could be some discrete storms out in the afternoon hours. And once we get into tomorrow night, the line of storms can bring damaging winds, large hail, and that low-end tornado threat into the region as well. So overnight for tonight, you're going to see the chance for a few thunder showers out there. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies and lows staying warm in those mid to upper 60s.
Thank you, Chase. Coming up on ABC 7 News at 6, a woman born with serious physical challenges is proving you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Stay with us.
After she was injured on the turnpike, Tricia knew she had only one opportunity to call the Maine law firm with the resources and experience her case required.
Joe Bornstein took over my case and didn't take any nonsense from the insurance companies. I felt like I was dealing with the best lawyers on earth.
Joe Bornstein has been fighting and winning for injured Mainers for over 50 years.
I call that success. If you want the best, call Joe.
The law offices of Joe Bornstein. Accidents happen to be their specialty.
It's a big, big deal. Summer is a big deal at Toyota.
It's the final days of Toyota's Big, Big Deal Summer Event, where you could get 4.99 financing on a fuel-sipping all-wheel drive Camry hybrid with a captivating interior and an up to 650-mile total driving range. Summer's a big, big deal at Toyota, the longest-lasting brand with the best resale value. So see your New England Toyota dealer.
It's a big, big deal.
Toyota, let's go places.
Did you know Susan Collins was the deciding vote for Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade? And she voted to put more than 100 Trump judges on the bench. Because of Susan Collins, states are banning abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest. And women are dying. And she's still standing by it.
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins, stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
When the morning light hits Maine, start your day with a good morning, Maine. Craig Colson, Janessa Bishop, by your side, bringing the stories that matter statewide. Local news and the forecast ahead. Wake up informed, ready to go on ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Thousands of kids like Caroline receive life-changing care at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center each year, the only full-service pediatric program north of Portland. You can help support them by joining the Summer Classic 4 Maine Kids Golf Tournament, happening July 31st at Bangor Municipal Golf Course. Benefiting the Children's Miracle Network at Eastern Maine Medical Center, every dollar raised supports pediatric care today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Ready to tee up for a great cause? Visit northernlight.org/4kids to learn more and register today.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back. There is a new admissions director at Northern Maine Community College whose life story is inspiring. She was born with no arms and no legs, and as Jody Hersey discovered, she is a working miracle who has the heart and faith of a giant.
Nothing slows down Lisa Olson. She is always on the move, looking to inspire and motivate those around her. Despite having no limbs, she is as productive as any able-bodied individual.
I'll utilize Google Meets to answer the phone. I type with a pen, a highlighter in my mouth.
Olson says she filled out 3,000 job applications before hearing back from Northern Maine Community College, which in turn offered her a job.
It was my dream position, and the fact that I have a heart to help young people to pursue their academic aspirations.
However, Olson's journey to Maine was an arduous one that started in India, where she was born to a mother prescribed thalidomide, a drug she said was given to women for morning sickness back in the 70s.
Thalidomide was administered to pregnant women, especially in third world countries. It was a German pharmaceutical company that knew it caused birth defects soon after it came out on the market, but it was a very lucrative drug.
Olson said she was abandoned in a basket outside of the Kasturba Medical College in India days after her birth.
The head of pediatric medicine told his staff to basically euthanize me. He told them to give me half feedings at first because he believed my body would weaken and die. There was one doctor who stood up adamantly, protested, and said euthanasia was illegal and immoral and God had a purpose for my life.
That young man was Olson's first hero. She would meet her second hero, her adoptive mother, Marie Olson, in New York in 1980.
My mom was almost 51 years old when she adopted me as a single parent. And she would point out other disabled people to me and say, this person can't speak, but you have a voice. She wasn't being condescending with my disability, but she just wanted to point out my abilities rather than my disability.
Olsen credits her late mother with her faith and strong work ethic. It's those qualities, along with the help of her caregivers, that allow Lisa to encourage others that they too can overcome life's adversities.
Working is my passion. I need to make an impact and a difference in people's lives. I can't just sit at home.
You can learn more about her journey at Little Limbs, Big Purpose. In Presque Isle, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Still to come on ABC 7 News at 6 in sports, the Red Sox are storming into the All-Star break. We'll have that story and your full forecast coming up.
Critical investments are strengthening Maine, thanks to Senator Susan Collins. The biggest investment in our rural hospitals in decades. New investments for working waterfronts, like the breakwater in Eastport. Investments to help homeless veterans find housing. Investments for Maine to train new doctors and nurses. Thousands of investments, thanks to the power of Senator Susan Collins. Call Senator Collins and ask her to keep delivering for Maine.
Ready to create your backyard oasis? Alexander's Professional Landscaping will work with you to create your perfect outdoor space. Work one-on-one with our landscape designer to create a unique garden to fit your family's personal aesthetics and lifestyle. Have our pros install your new lawn, garden, or patio. Schedule a consultation today by calling 573-4497. Alexander's Professional Landscaping, the way landscaping should be.
At the Challenger Learning Center of Maine, our mission to inspire Maine students has never been stronger. Our newly renovated facility is open and ready to launch. We have upgraded simulator rooms, refreshed learning spaces, and new hands-on STEM experiences. Check out our exciting upcoming events for students, educators, and families. There's always something happening at Challenger. Ready for liftoff? Explore what's new and what's next at the Challenger Learning Center of Maine. Visit astronaut.org for details.
Did you know Susan Collins was the deciding vote for Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade? And she voted to put more than 100 Trump judges on the bench. Because of Susan Collins, states are banning abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest. And women are dying. And she's still standing by it.
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins, stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
Half-off deals are waiting for you at foxbangor.com. Click on half-off deals and see how much you can save only at foxbangor.com.
Welcome back in, folks. It was a jam-packed weekend of sports, but we're going to start with a familiar story in Boston. Tell me if you've heard this one before. The Red Sox have caught fire before the All-Star break. With Sunday's win against the Mets marked the 9th straight for the Red Sox, who scored sweeps over the Angels, White Sox, and Mets over that 9-game stretch, all on the road at that. The Sox got it done in dramatic fashion to finish out the streak, trailing 2-0 heading into the 9th inning, where they then tied it to make quick work in the 10th to secure the win. Boston now sits 2 games below 500, but are just half a game back from a wild card spot. Here was interim manager Chad Tracy after the game.
It's impressive. You know, I think when you leave on the plane to start the road trip, the mindset's like, let's try to go win 3 series, you know, and at least put ourselves within a couple of games or a few games if we can. That's the mindset, and we won all 9, so I'm so proud of them. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen today. I mean, theoretically, we could end up, you know, in a wild card spot if things go our way, but to be where we're at right now, based on where we were at 3 weeks ago, you couldn't ask for much more. So the key is now, I told them that too. Part 2 is we got to be ready to go when the second part of the season starts.
Heading to the global stage where the Final Four is set in the FIFA World Cup. Hard to believe there's only 3 games left in this tournament after a weekend of quarterfinal action. The Final Four is set, and they happen to be the best 4 teams in the world. It will start on Tuesday with FIFA ranked number 1 Spain against number 2 France, then continue Wednesday with number 3 Argentina against number 4 England. Both of those games will be at 3 p.m. with the final slated for Sunday at 3. All 3 of those games will be broadcasted on Fox 22. We will have you covered with updates all week long leading up to the final in New York. We'll have more for you later on. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. Here's your full 5-day forecast.
Thank you very much. Your main weather is brought to you by Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. Ride smart, ride safe, enjoy the weekend, and enjoy the road with Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers, Booth Bay Harbor. All right, as we see out there for today, another hot one out there with mid-80s here in Bangor. Lots of low to mid-80s all across the state for today, except your coastline. We had a bit of a sea breeze out there. Mid to upper 70s for Bar Harbor and Rockland out there this afternoon. It's going to stay warm and muggy overnight tonight. A few thunder showers may roll across the state for tonight, but otherwise staying cloudy out there. We will see more sunshine for tomorrow. Now, these temperatures show us in the 80s again. We do have a heat advisory for the southwestern portion of the state, and some of that can sneak into Bangor, where we can look at low to mid 90s, about 10 degrees warmer than what these temperatures are showing. But we also have a severe weather threat we have to get through that's going to bring some cloud cover to the region. So we'll talk about that more here in a little bit. But here's a look at your temperature trend throughout the week. So yes, we do have 93 for tomorrow if we get enough sunshine, right? But still mid 80s for Wednesday and the Thursday for your Friday. This is when we're looking to cool down a bit. Mid 70s, a little bit more relief compared to the temperatures we've been seeing out there, but still sticking right around average throughout your weekend into the beginning of the work week, with upper 70s and low 80s hanging around the region. But yes, there is a severe weather outlook for tomorrow, and it is enhanced for much of the state. This is the first time this year we're seeing enhanced risk for severe weather. So that covers more of the northern and western portions of the state, but we're still in a slight risk here in the Bangor area. We can see some stronger storms going closer towards tomorrow night, while the rest of the state in that enhanced region can see some stronger storms during the afternoon hours. So a few thunder showers passing through tonight. That is not the severe weather threat. Here we are for tomorrow, where we can see discrete cells out there. These are going to be capable of producing some large hail, damaging winds, and of course, there is the possibility of a tornado with some of these if they stay discrete, right? But also, the timing is very uncertain with these storms. If these storms come in a little bit earlier in the day, then we'll have time to build that heat for the storms later in the day that we're expecting here in Bangor. So if that scenario occurs, again, a chance for a few more isolated storms in the afternoon. If we get these later in the day, that should suppress the severe weather for later, right around that 9 to 10 o'clock hour. But if we see storms earlier in the day, and then we have time to build up some more heat and some energy for these storms later, this is where they can be stronger. Main threats with the line of storms coming in later can be damaging winds, but still some large hail and an isolated tornado threat is still with those storms as well. These will pass through right after midnight, and it looks like we'll be in the clear with some sunshine heading into your Wednesday. So as you see for tonight, we can see a few thunder showers rolling through. This is not the severe threat just yet, but we'll stay cloudy with lows really warm, near 67 degrees for tonight. Heading into tomorrow, partly cloudy throughout the day, and yes, there is a chance for some severe thunderstorms, mostly later in the day for us here in Bangor, but further north, that chance exists throughout much of the day. Highs for Bangor looking to reach the low to mid 90s for tomorrow. Taking a look at your extended forecast, we're hot with chances for severe weather tomorrow, but then 87 for Wednesday, a little bit more dry. We'll see another round of showers and thunderstorms possible Thursday, but a bit cooler Friday in the mid 70s, back to the low 80s to start off your weekend on Saturday.
Chase, thank you so much. Coming up, Maine Maritime Academy is bringing new experiences for students. We introduce you to their new vessel after the break.
For the best selection in classic and contemporary furnishings, stop by Richard Parks Furniture on High Street in Ellsworth. Handcrafted New England-made bedrooms and dining rooms, imported Scandinavian recliners and upholstery, more than 40 lines of furniture for the home and patio. Richard Parks Furniture is your #1 stop for quality, functionality, and well-designed furniture at affordable prices. Richard Parks Furniture.
Discover Richard Parks.
132 High Street in Ellsworth.
Discover Richard.
Are your basement walls bowing, crumbling, or failing? Hi, I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. Our stable lock wall system offers a patented, affordable, and permanent solution to save your foundation walls. It stabilizes, fills voids, and structurally repairs, leaving a new smooth surface. All the strength of new walls. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Honeymoon, here we come.
Ew.
Oh, I think I stepped in something.
It was supposed to look like this.
How bad do you think their room is? This is the room with the view?
We've got to get out of here.
My AAA travel advisor Jack can help us out.
Right. I married into the AAA family.
Book the trip you deserve with AAA travel advisors and exclusive member benefits. AAA, we're always with you.
Imagine stepping onto your brand new deck, enjoying all the benefits of your expanded outdoor living space. Hammond Lumber Company can help turn that vision into reality. Visit any of Hammond's expansive showrooms and explore a world of possibilities. The timeless beauty of wood, the resilience of composite, or affordable, durable PVC. Railing options from traditional wood to sleek aluminum and contemporary cable railing. On-site consultation and delivery are available. Get started on your new deck when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Did you know Susan Collins was the deciding vote for Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade? And she voted to put more than 100 Trump judges on the bench. Because of Susan Collins, states are banning abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest. And women are dying. And she's still standing by it.
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins, stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
Gas prices are on the rise again. They increased close to 5 cents a gallon in the last week. According to Gas Buddy's survey of more than 1,200 stations around the state, the average price is now $3.87 a gallon. That's 27 cents a gallon lower than a month ago and 84.6 cents a gallon higher than a year ago. Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, says the national average price of gasoline has seen its first weekly increase since May 11th, snapping a streak of 8 straight weekly declines. He says the turnaround comes as oil prices surge following the collapse of the ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran and the start of new attacks. Well, if you feel the urge to travel, you can visit our solar system without ever leaving Maine. The University of Maine at Presque Isle developed a 3D model of the solar system along U.S. Route 1 in Aroostook County between 2000 and 2003. It was a way for people to enjoy space from the comfort of their vehicles. Now, this model is more than 40 miles long and includes Earth as well as Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The sun is located at Folsom Hall on the University of Maine Presque Isle campus. Those wishing to see Pluto will find it inside the Holton Information Center. The Maine solar system model is the largest 3D scale model in the Western Hemisphere and the second largest such model in the world. Finally, tonight, after more than 2 years without its own training vessel, Maine Maritime Academy is entering a new era at sea. Sunday, the university welcomed home the State of Maine, a $330 million ship designed to transform how the next generation of mariners train. Our Alex Schley shows us why this vessel is considered a game changer for the academy.
It's a happy day for Maine Maritime Academy.
The sound of celebration filled the waterfront in Castine Sunday, as hundreds of family members, friends, and faculty welcomed home the State of Maine, a 525-foot training vessel specifically designed for Maine Maritime Academy.
Train twice as many students at the same time, and Maine Maritime prides itself really on that hands-on education, that experiential learning. We still teach the old things, hydraulics, diesels, steam, electricity, the things that are intangible for any engineer, but we're learning the modern day ship systems, the electronic systems on these ships.
The State of Maine can accommodate up to 600 cadets and features a dedicated training bridge, navigation lab, 2 full-size engine rooms, classrooms, and a laboratory space, giving students the opportunity to practice the skills they will need before they enter the maritime industry. The vessel departed in Maine with more than 250 Maine maritime students aboard. The cadets sailed from Portland to Galveston, Texas, where they picked up 240 students from Texas A&M.
We did 3 or 4 days of lifeboat training down there. We sailed from there to Charleston, South Carolina, from Charleston to St. John's, Newfoundland, St. John's, Newfoundland, down south to Port Everglades, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and then sailed north to New York City for the 250th anniversary of the country.
After more than 2 months away from home, families say they're ready to have their loved ones back.
Daddy's excited to go here.
Officials say the arrival of the State of Maine represents a major investment in the future of Maine Maritime Academy, helping prepare students for the complex, technology-driven challenges they face at sea. In Castine, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And that is going to do it for us, folks. From everyone here at ABC 7, have a great rest of your night. And for more, join us over on Fox 22 News tonight at 6:30.
This week, most Americans will feel it. A widespread heat dome, record triple-digit and overnight highs. How long will it last?
Your name, then animal control would come out and check the vet records and see whether or not the dog actually had its shots. And then the person who your dog bit could be comfortable that they didn't have to worry about something happening to them. That's what you do if you're responsible. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
My opinion's the only one that counts.
My dog was defending himself.
There was so much pain.
He tried to chase my dog to try to punch him instead of picking up his own dog.
I don't hurt animals.
My dog didn't do anything wrong.
It's absolutely the owner, and I'm not here to ruin people's lives, but I want people to take responsibility.
This is Fox 22 News Tonight.
Officials say a person has been shot and killed by a federal immigration agent during an enforcement operation in southern Maine. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Beth Jones. The incident happened this morning in Biddeford. Our Grace Blanchard joins us now live in studio with the latest on the investigation and reaction from throughout the state. Grace.
Hey Beth, the incident was first reported this morning by House Speaker Ryan Fecteau, who confirmed the fatal shooting on his social media. While details leading up to the shooting are still limited, the incident is already sparking outrage in Biddeford and throughout Maine.
A young man is dead following a shooting involving ICE in Biddeford. The incident happened shortly before 8 a.m. Monday. The Attorney General's office says initial statements indicate an enforcement removal operations officer was conducting an operation when the subject attempted to flee in a vehicle in the direction